This morning, a copper thief is now in jail this morning, police say, accused of stealing more than $1,000 from a local business. News Channel 5's Cuthbert Langley live at the CJC for us this morning. And we have heard about these thefts of copper in the past because you can resell that stuff apparently quite a bit. How did police catch this guy?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting, Steve. The business owner actually just happened to be there watching the feed from his surveillance cameras and actually saw the suspect, 65-year-old Robert Worthy, actually taking the copper right there, caught him red-handed. So he called police and they came to the scene, and this scene actually was right at 910 Twin Elms Court. And when police got there, they said, yeah, in fact, Worthy was sitting there hacking away the copper, trying to take it all without being detected. They brought the business owner out there to kind of give some sort of an estimate about just how much copper Worthy is accused of stealing, and it was upwards of more than $1,000. But in addition to that as well, Worthy allegedly broke into the fence using an axe to try to get into that fence, and those damage charges were over $500. So this morning, not only are we talking about Worthy facing a burglary charge of trying to steal that copper, he's also facing a vandalism charge for damaging that fence as well. And he also has been charged with possession of burglary tools. Police noticed that he had obviously the hatchet that he was hacking away the copper with, gloves, and an axe as well. So they said all of that is evidence to believe that that was used in that burglary as well. So that's a misdemeanor charge. But in addition to everything else, his bond is now at $40,000. He is still in jail here at the Criminal Justice Center after being brought in early yesterday morning. Reporting live at the Criminal Justice Center this morning, I'm Cuthbert Langley, News Channel 5 HD.
All right, thank you very much, Cuthbert. Amy?
And this morning, we know who was piloting a home-built helicopter that crashed in Gallatin. The Sumner County Sheriff's Department tells a 61-year-old James Lee from Gallatin crashed off Douglas Lane yesterday afternoon. Lee was said to be flying to a friend's house on Douglas Lane and then back home, but he crashed before he made it back home. Emergency crew said Lee was flying a helicycle. It's an ultralight aircraft sold as a kit and meant to be assembled by the owner. Crew say neighbors tried to put out the flames after the crash, but it was too late.
They actually went to the site, but they weren't able to do anything there. One took a fire extinguisher there. Otherwise, there was nothing they could do.
And as we continue following this story today, we will let you know what the Transportation Safety Board finds as they continue their investigation. And
new this morning now, a Stewart County man is behind bars. He's charged with vehicular homicide up in Montgomery County. The Leaf Chronicle reporting that Jonathan Olson of Dover turned in front of an oncoming motorcycle on Madison Street in Clarksville Sunday. The driver of that motorcycle was killed. The passenger seriously injured. Police say that Olson admitted to drinking one beer and smoking marijuana before getting behind the wheel. Officers say they also found evidence of marijuana inside his car. He's being held on $1 million bond, a little bit more than that right now. Also in Clarksville, a woman allegedly went on a rampage that did not stop once she was arrested. The Leaf Chronicle telling us 29-year-old Kiwana Lewis was taken into custody for stabbing a couple of people with a kitchen knife. Police say that she was in the front yard holding the knife when police arrived. Once in jail, though, she allegedly banged on her cell door until a jailer came to pepper spray her. But when the jailer opened her door, she jumped out, grabbed the jailer, and then tried to strangle the jailer. It took a couple of other deputies to pry her off. That jailer went to the hospital. Lewis charged now with 3 counts of aggravated assault.
More than a dozen teens from Woodland Hills Youth Development Center are back where they're supposed to be this morning. 13 teens managed to escape the facility late Friday night. It started when 3 students attacked a guard and took his radio and keys. They used the keys to free other teens who made it outside. That's where someone pried open the outdoor gate and they all took off. 2 were immediately caught within about 2 hours. All but 1 was in custody. 16-year-old Timothy Willis wasn't captured until early yesterday morning when a patrol officer saw him walking along Clarksville Pike. This is the 3rd time this month teens there have escaped their rooms, and the 2nd time this month teens have escaped the facility. 2 others, Demario Fisher and Cavante Kane, who escaped the center on September 1st, remain on the loose.
Homecoming night at Tennessee State University. It turned violent with a couple of separate shooting incidents. A TSU spokesperson confirming campus police are now looking into both of those cases. One happened late Friday night, the other one around 3:30 the next morning near the Watson and Boyd dorms. One of the 2 victims drove himself to the hospital. The injuries are not life-threatening. Investigators are now working to determine if the gunmen are students or not. And the University of Kentucky is much calmer this morning after reports of a shooting there yesterday. Police are investigating reports of shots fired near the Kirwan Blanding complex yesterday around 10 in the morning. Witnesses told police that the shots came from several males in dark clothing. They also added that the suspects fled on foot. An all clear was issued around 1:30 this morning.
And that same night, gunfire erupted on I-24 back here in Nashville. The victims were leaving the TSU homecoming. They were on I-24 near Shelby Avenue when two cars pulled up and started shooting at them. They managed to get away and drove until they could flag down an officer. They told police they aren't sure why they were targeted and that they weren't involved in any fights before the incident. In fact, they're from out of town. A passenger in the car was shot in the leg but is expected to be okay.